Hey, it's Dr. Jade, Teta, and welcome to Metabolic Living's Immunity Upgrade Blueprint. In today's lecture, we're going to be talking about the four toggles of metabolism: the dieter and the couch potato, along with the athlete and the hunter-gatherer. Now remember, the best defense is a strong immune system, and you get a strong immune system by developing a strong, resilient metabolism. The metabolism is what provides the energy to fuel your immune system, so your immune system can do its job fighting microbes like viruses and bacteria. Let's get into the lecture. One of the things that we need to understand is what registers as a stress to the metabolism. What you should now begin to understand is that the metabolism is just one big stress barometer, and the amount of calories in versus energy out, the gap between those two can act as a significant stress to the metabolism. This is commonly known as the eat more, exercise less, or EMEL type of approach, commonly known in the Western world as the couch potato. Ton of calories in, not many calories out, a big spread, and stress occurs. Now, in past lectures, we've talked about how do we know the metabolism is under stress. When SHMEC, sleep, hunger, mood, energy, and cravings, that famous acronym that Metabolic Living is famous for, when SHMEC goes out of check, then we can be relatively sure that our metabolism is under stress. Now, the opposite of the eat more, exercise less approach is the eat less, exercise more approach, the dieter approach. The problem with this model is it too can create a pretty big calorie gap and cause stress. So isn't it funny that oftentimes chronic dieters, those who eat less and exercise more, and chronic couch potatoes, those who eat more and exercise less, both commonly have SHMEC issues. Both will oftentimes have SHMEC, sleep, hunger, mood, energy, and cravings, be out of check, which tells us about the stress response in the metabolism. Well, today you're going to learn that there are two other ways to look at metabolism. We've talked about the couch potato and we've talked about the dieter, but we need to talk about two other ways to think about manipulating calories in and calories out. One way is what we call the eat less, exercise less approach. This would be your typical hunter-gatherer, your paleo man, your traditional European or Parisian. What these people do is they eat relatively sparsely. You don't see them running around doing marathons and 5Ks and CrossFit and a ton of Orange Theory and super intense classes. In fact, they don't do a whole lot of exercise, if any at all. They just eat less and they move as a part of their lifestyle. Eat less, exercise less. It's very much like the traditional hunter-gatherer as well, which we'll get to here in a moment. The other approach is the eat more, exercise more approach. This is very much like a modern athlete. And one of the things I'll say here is that isn't it funny that so many people want to look like, feel like, and function like athletes, yet athletes do not follow the eat less, exercise more approach. They eat more to fuel their athletic pursuits. No athlete in his or her right mind would eat less and exercise more if they wanted to be great at their sport. So, in reality, athletes look good and function well because they typically eat more and exercise more. And if you take these two approaches, the eat less, exercise less, and the eat more, exercise more approach, you see that the calorie gap is much more narrow than in the couch potato and the dieter. And so here is sort of an overview of these four different metabolic states. One of the things you want to take away from this lecture is that there's nothing wrong with any of these approaches. It's just that the metabolism is flexible, adaptable, changeable, and so you want to be able to use these. One of the things research hints at, we're not 1,000% sure, is that the dieter model, your metabolism begins to compensate in about 7 to 14 days. So it's best limited, this dieter mentality, for 1 to 4 weeks. You really don't want to do it longer than that. The couch potato model, 1 to 4 days. So you really don't want to do this much longer than a long weekend or something like that. Now, the athlete model and the hunter-gatherer model, these two models are much more easy on the immune system and the metabolism. They're not as stressful, and so you can stay in them for much longer. The athlete model 3 months perhaps, and the hunter-gatherer model fairly indefinitely. Now, everyone's going to be different, so how would you know if one of these different toggles stopped working for you? Well, your schmeck would go out of check, and then you'd want to change your approach. So it may work very well this way to bounce back and forth from these different metabolic states. And it's useful for you to understand how to use all of these. So the key takeaways today are there are not 2 metabolic states, but 4. Eat less, exercise more, and eat more, exercise less create large calorie gaps that can create a lot of stress and throw schmeck out of check. Whereas the eat less, exercise less, and eat more, exercise more models can create more sustainable results. The metabolism changes, so the important part about understanding these 4 toggles is so you can change with it. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. There's still time to join the challenge and access all the old material. All you have to do is go to metabolicliving.com. We have immune strengthening workouts, meal plans, and recipes at the website. We take care of you no matter your nutrition lifestyle choice, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, paleo, keto, we've got you covered. If you have enjoyed this lecture, please share this with everyone that you know, friends and family. And don't forget to follow us at Metabolic Living on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Don't forget, we're all in this together. It's about boosting your metabolism, strengthening your immune system, and flattening this curve together. Thanks so much for being here at this lecture, and we will see you at the next session.